Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be working on a Ford F-150. It's a 94 model and it has the goat of all engines in my opinion, at least the platform, and that is the 4.9 liter inline 6-cylinder. Greatest engine in the world in my opinion, but hey, put down in your comments what you think the best ones are. Okay, he'll trying to give you an idea of the symptoms that we're having right now and what we're trying to figure out. Since it's a 94 model, it's not OBD2 compatible, so I think it's EEC4, something like that. I'd have to look to be sure. But anyway, there are ways of testing these trucks, even though it's not OBD2 compatible. There's not a lot to these vehicles, but you have an EGR valve, you do have an IEC, you do have a TPS sensor. So it was kind of right on the edge of everything going electronic and sensors and whatnot. And the problem with these types of year models is, even though they're actually pretty simple, they're kind of difficult to diagnose in some ways because you don't have the ability to do the testing that you would be able to do with the OBD2 system. So it's kind of one of those toss-ups, and sometimes these codes that you get don't even help you. But sometimes they do. And right now I'm going to go in here and start the truck up and let you guys see what we're battling here. Okay, so the engine's probably still pretty warm, guys, because I did have it running a few minutes ago, getting prepared to do this video. This doesn't have tilt steering, so it's going to be kind of hard. So we're key in the on position. So our check engine light, we're verifying that it does work, okay? We're going to start the truck. Hear how it's stumbling? Kind of got a mist developing. Check engine light is going off though, guys, so that might make this hard to figure out. That's what I was getting at a little bit earlier. I wish we had a little better lighting in here. Okay, so here's the issue. We're at idle. Now, I don't know if you can really tell with the camera, but we have a little bit of a miss, a little bit of a buck going on. It's getting worse. It's not great. If I barely get on the gas, she dies. Now, she stumbles when I try to give her gas. Now, I've already went through the process of checking for vacuum leaks, and I can't find one. But the main thing is, if you push past, a little past throttle, opening the throttle, you can get past it, it'll run. Okay? You let off though, as it's falling back to idle, it struggles. But just put it in reverse. Pretty rough, huh, guys? Okay, so here's the situation though. We don't have a check engine light on. And this thing's running terrible. And this is usually a pretty predictable and pretty reliable vehicle. Usually have zero issues, but we have one now. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can pull some codes off of it, and I'm gonna try to show you how it's done. So stick with me. All right, guys, as I previously said, I've already taken a can of brake cleaner and some starting fluid, and I've gone around with the engine running at idle, sprayed around on all the vacuum hoses. I tried to spray any place that a vacuum line could go, anything that could have a vacuum leak associated with it, including the throttle body and the intake where it's going down onto the engine. I could not find anything. Sprayed over at the canister, everything I could do. Okay, guys? All right. So, if you're going to get in a situation where you're going to have to do this test, here's how you do it. Well, here's the beginning stages of how you do it. first of all, get your computer tester. Mine I happen to store right there, in case I ever need it. This is the time where we need it. It usually helps to get a wire a little bit longer than this one, but this is the one I have, so I'm going to try to use it. And on the driver's side fender, here's your test port. If you look on the top here, I'll try to get you around here. Try to get some of this trash out of your way, guys. If you look here on the fender well, you can see where the master cylinder is, and then here on the fender wall, you can see the EEC test port. All right. Now these trucks are getting older, guys, so don't go yanking on every wire and, you know, not being smart. Okay, because you can tear up some wiring if you do so. I'm going to gently remove this and get it set up for you guys. Hope you guys are seeing any of this. So I removed the end here from the cap. The cap stays on the wall here, guys. All right, so there's one more piece to this puzzle, and that would be this guy here. So you have to have both of these, guys. All right, you have to have both of these in order to run this test. Now, I will try to, I'm not going to say I can make a picture here and all that good stuff for you, but it's dirty. I'm cleaning it out with the wire here. All right, now hold tight and I'm going to show you which wires we're going to hook to do this test. All right, guys, so we're going to do the key on, engine off test. That's the one we're going to go for at the moment. Okay, so you can see this, one end of our wire in that spot. Okay, maybe you can see that a little better. That's where we're going to put our first end of the wire. Okay, guys, and the other end of this wire we're going to place into the end of this, and I'll get you another picture here after I get this on. Like that, guys. All right, now to the inside. All right, guys, so I'm back in the cab. As you can see, the key is in the off position. Okay, you see now I hooked that up under the dash, and I'm hoping you're gonna be able to see this, and you might actually be able to see it better because it's so dark in here. Well, what's going to happen is when we turn the key to the on position, so engine off, key on, engine off position, we're going to have some codes flash up, or we should have some codes flash up if everything is hooked up correctly and the computer's being able to transmit properly. Okay, so when I turn the key to the on position, you're going to have a series of codes that are going to flash up. These codes are going to be present codes, things that are happening right now. It will go through those codes twice. Usually, if you don't have a problem with your computer or you're transmitting it, the signals, you'll go through the codes twice. It'll show them twice, guys, and then it will have a pause, and then we'll have a single pause or a single digit flash. So the second round are going to be continuous, or things that are happened in the past and it's kept in the memory bank. Continuous type of code that's consistently popping up. So that's your second round, but let's start with the first round, and let's try to, I want to try to get all this for you guys. Now, guys, I think it is recommended that you do these tests with the engine warm. This engine is in the warm operating temperature. That's the lucky part of this. At least I don't have a crank no start. It does actually crank, so I was able to let it run and get up to temperature. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this key on. Now, you're going to want to have an ink pen and a piece of paper handy for this test, okay, guys? So we're going to turn the key on. And we'll come back over here and we're going to watch for the engine to flash and do its thing. The check engine light. You should have check engine light, should start flashing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So got the code 334 there, guys. Write that down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. It's repeating the same code, so we have a code 334. We're going to look that up, guys. You're going to see a pause here, and then you're going to see one flash. There it went. Now it's going to go to continuous codes. Codes stored in memory. Things that are taking place over time. There's 3. There's 3. There's 4. So we're getting the same code, even the continuous storage having the same issue. We're going to look this up and see what we come up with. Alright guys, so I looked up the code, and the code is a 334 code. You go to some of the Ford forums and it tells you it could be a lot of different things actually. You can get a lot of different information, but it has to do with the EGR valve system on these trucks. And it can cause rough idle and stumble, so that is something to look into. I'm going to continue on and see if I can do the key on, engine on test if I have one available for this truck. So let's see what that brings us. Alright guys, so to do this engine on, key on, engine on test is a little bit different. It's a little harder, and it's got a little more stuff you have to do, and it's a little ridiculous if you ask me, but we're going to crank the truck up to temperature if it'll stay running. She's running rough, boys. She's running a little rough. So we're going to let it idle for a little bit. We'll make sure the temperature gauge gets up into the straight up and down at the normal position where it would normally be, and I'll get back with you. Alright guys, so we have it up to operating temperature. I'm going to kill the truck. Okay. Still have my wires hooked up out front. And what we're going to do now, we're going to turn the key back on, start the truck back up, and we're going to wait. And we're going to video what we get. Okay? And it'll take it a few minutes. So here we go. And I'm going to leave this. Well, there you go. The engine's revved up. That 3 that popped up there, if you have a 6-cylinder, you'll have 3 that'll pop up. 1, 2, 3. So it's telling you how many cylinders you have. I don't know why it's not 6, but it pops up 3. Okay. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait it out. Engine revved up high. There's a 1. It's 4. 1, 2. 7, 2, 3, 334 there. That's 5, 3, 538. Alright guys, so I was able to find my tester for these old OBD1. I'm going to use it because I could not get everything to activate the way I needed it to on the other scan test, and there's great videos out there on it. I'm going to try to use this, see if I can figure it out. Also, I have a Chilton's manual. These things are great wealth of information, and I know the internet has information, but if you buy one of these books, you have it right here. You don't have to have service to do it. You can just look it up, do the old-fashioned way, and read it, learn it, understand it. So it says I have to connect the scanner tool to the self connectors, make certain the latch is up, which means, you know, that it's in its spot. Start the engine and run it to operating normal operating temperature, excuse me, and then turn it off for 10 seconds. Then we're going to activate the test button on the star, which is what this is. So I'm going to hook this up and then go in and do exactly what it said. Alright, got her hooked up. So I've got my book here. I'm following the directions exactly. So we're going to crank this thing up. We're going to let it warm up to operating temperature. And I'll be back. Alright guys, so the truck's up to operating temperature right now. What we're going to do is go in here, we're going to turn the key off, follow the directions in the manual here in the book. So we're going to turn the key off, come back out, and we're going to activate and turn this on. Okay, this is called a star. Alright, we killed it. Engine's off. 10 seconds. And turn this on. And it is on. Turn the ignition back into the on position, but do not start the engine. I'm going to let this play out in real time, guys, just so you'll be able to see exactly how long it took for this to run through its cycle the way I was doing it. And also to let you see how it all really truly acts in real time. I'm not going to edit this down. So it's going to be a kind of a lengthy little section here of the video. But if you'll watch it, I think it might be helpful to you. And I'll chime back in a moment. So I get it if you need to fast forward here, guys, and totally understand it. But like I said, I really wanted this to play out so you could see how the time it took to do this. And so you could see it repeat itself, kind of getting to know, you know, exactly how this stuff works, because of this. There's not a lot of this out there anymore with these older vehicles. So I appreciate you hanging around. If you need to fast forward, it makes sense to me here. Hey, I also want to say thank you to everybody for liking and subscribing and getting my channel up and getting it monetized. I really do appreciate that. Alright guys, I think that's all of our codes. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go ahead and change the fuel filter first. It's just a routine maintenance item anyway, before I dig any deeper into this truck. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while anyway, and because we are having a little bit of a fuel delivery issue, or seems to be, I think I'm going to go with that route first. Cheap and easy, or should be cheap and easy, and it needs to be done anyway. In order to do it though, you want to remove the fuse for the fuel pump and then get in and crank the truck over and try to relieve some pressure on the fuel line. So that's what I'm doing now. The under the hood fuse box location is over here by your brake booster and master cylinder on these trucks. And then here is your fuse box. Now you need to get your owner's manual and look up what's what and all that good stuff. And they'll even say that there. So your owner's manual to see which one it is. So I'm going to figure out which fuse it is and I'll be right back. And I just so happen to have the original owner's manual for this truck. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have the owner's manual, the original owner's manual. It's my grandpa's. And I even have paperwork with his signature and stuff on it when he bought it new in '94. There's a lot of this right here that means a lot to me. I'm just that type of guy. So let's see if we can find it. Fuses, checking and replacing, locations. Let's go to 365. All right, so obviously this is under the driver's side. Over there, right under there is another fuse panel. I don't think that's the one we need though. I think we're going to be looking for the one that's underneath the hood. All right, so here's the power distribution box. This is the one that will be underneath the hood. You have these numbers here, correlates with the numbers on the side right here. If you guys need to pause that or whatever. And anyway, we'll go out here and figure out which one it is. So we are looking for fuel pump relay coil. Yeah, that'll probably do it. Fuel pump feed. Number 16. Number 16 on here. Where are you, number 16? Okay, number 16 is 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom, 20 amp. That is correct. So we'll pull this 20 amp off of here. Might have to get some pliers. Sometimes these guys can be pretty tough to get out. Hold that thought. You want to gently do this. You don't want to tear anything up. You don't want to break your fuse because these things aren't cheap. Off of there. Okay, now that we've got the fuse out, it's always a good idea to come back into the interior of your truck, put your keys in, and crank your truck over to relieve pressure on the fuel system, because these trucks will still have pressure and they will still run. And if you get down there and you try to take that fuel filter off, number one, it's going to fight you. Number two, it's going to spray fuel everywhere. See how it's trying to crank there, guys? I want to just turn the key over for just a little bit here. Relieve pressure on the line. And I always like to take the keys back out, set them in the seat, just for extra safety's sake. I'm also going to remove number 9 because it is for the fuel pump relay, and I'm just going to be safe by removing it. And I know that we have anything to do with the fuel unhooked from a fuse box underneath the hood. So number 9 right here. All right guys, I'm underneath the driver's side of the truck, right, pretty much even with where the door is. Basically, if you're going to try to find your fuel filter on the 4.9 liter F-150s, and it might be this way on all the F-150s that are from these year models. The fuel tank, front fuel tank, come to the front of it, and then look to the right on the inside of the frame, and you'll see the canister there, right here. That right there is your fuel filter. Now, I don't know why Ford did not put it right here, but they didn't. They put it right there, so that's what we're dealing with. And you have to use a line wrench to get these push-in type fuel line things. You can get these pretty cheap at the parts store. Order them on Amazon. You get them really cheap. I'm not sure exactly what size we need here. I think it's this one. I'm not real sure. Can't remember for sure, and I don't know what size this is. Maybe a quarter, something like that. I'll try to find out, but you can Google it for your specific truck and you'll know what size you need. But like I said, just go ahead and buy a whole set of these. Are cheap, and then you'll have one and you'll have what you need. Now on occasion, if your truck is pretty dirty down here, you're going to want to try to clean this off, because dirt getting inside of this push and pull system just makes it that much more difficult to get off. Sometimes I have had to spray some WD-40 up in the side of this, and or some penetrant of some kind. You have your choice on each side to get it off. Hopefully this don't fight us too bad. I try to keep the underside of this truck pretty clean. So I'm going to see if I can't set this camera up to where you can still see what I'm doing. But it might be difficult, guys, but I can kind of walk you through it after it's done if I need to. All right, guys, so sometimes you don't have to do this. I don't know. I've had it happen to where I've had to do this before, where the fuel filter, I showed you where its location is here on the front part of the fuel tank, right here on the inside of the frame. Sometimes to get to that back hose and actually get it off, you have these 2 bolts, or yeah, 2 bolts, and you take the nuts off of them and slip that down out of the way to give you a little bit more room. I'm gonna have to try that this time and see if I can get any results from that. And it might be tough. These things have been on here a long time. Penetrating oil. Be right back. I'm gonna hit these with the wire brush just a little bit, and then I'm gonna spray a little lubricant on them. Knock a little of the cut off. Oh no. Say it ain't so. Man, it's getting old. Time I buy some oil or whatever, still about 1/3 of the bottle in it before it, and it goes out on you. What kind of crap is that? Y'all, there's really no good way to explain how to do this. I leave the front hose on the front of the filter and try to get the back off first. It's just, I'm not going to say it's easier, but you just have to do some prying and some crying, and there's a lot better videos out there that are going to be how-tos on this, but it's not an easy job. It's not for the faint of heart. So watch a few videos, study up on it before you attack it, and we're gonna get this changed and see if we got any progress. All right, guys, I got the new fuel filter installed. The best way I can tell you to do this is leave the front hose on first. Leave this one alone. Go to the back. It may help you to loosen off the bracket here on the outside and pull it out to give you some wiggle room to push this whole assembly backwards to give you a little bit of room to get this back hose off, because it is really hard to get to, and hard to just hard to mess with, guys. Used a bunch of different screwdrivers and pry bars just to be able to get it turned in a way that would just work, and you just have to keep messing with it, guys. And if you think this is going to be a 5-minute job, I would steer clear of it. This needs to be a Saturday morning right after your first cup of coffee, when you're as chill as possible, because this will drive you nuts. Speaking of nuts, I keep losing my nuts. Finally found it. Spent 10 minutes looking for it. So we'll tighten all this back down, and then we'll check out the condition of the old filter. Alright guys, I have the old filter out of the truck, and I'm just going to say this. I'm a Ford guy, I'm a car guy, I'm a truck guy, primarily a truck guy. Love all vehicles. But I am a big fan of Fords. I like Fords. But filter had plenty of room on the inside of that frame to move this away from that fuel tank to make this an easier change. You could have done better, engineers. Even you can't tell me that it doesn't frustrate your techs when they had to work on this stuff and change this stuff all the time. Yeah, they got special tools and lifts and stuff, but you've increased the time of doing this, and it makes no sense. All right, anyway, enough griping. This is the back of my tailgate. I'm gonna pour this out, and we'll try to catch this on film if I can. I want you to see just how much grime comes out of this filter. Look at how nasty that is, guys. And this fuel filter isn't actually very old, but look at that. You know, this could very well be the problem why the truck's running so rough. But that is some pretty nasty fuel, guys, and there's chunks coming out of it. I'll clean this up, don't worry. It's terrible, y'all. And I'm talking big, huge chunks coming out of it. All of this stuff you're seeing here, that came out of this filter. It was not there. Look at that. So, and this is why I would start with this filter though, because if you start with the filter and you have a fuel delivery problem, let's say you're getting a code for a bad fuel pump, or your fuel pressure's low, you're checking the fuel pressure up on the rail and it's showing to be low, or you're getting a code saying you're too lean on your O2 sensor, which will be a HEGO in this one. Any of those things happen. If this thing's clogged up, you're going to be lean. But look at that. That's not good, guys. So if you change this first, because it is it's a serviceable part. It's something you should be doing on tune-ups anyway. It's been way too long since this one's been changed, really. But if you do it that way, it's not like you're just throwing the parts cannon at it and throwing money away. As you can see right here, no matter what happens from here on out, even if this doesn't cure the situation, you can tell 100% that it needed changing anyway. It's something I needed to get done. All right, just wanted to show you the guys that. Surprised the truck was even running. All right, let's get the fuses back in, and then let's pump some fuel up and see what she does. And it will take a minute probably to get pumped up. I usually cycle the key a few times. So what I'm going to do now, it's idling. It's going to be a little rough for a minute. You're going to have fuel. Yeah, trying to get everything lined out. So what I'm going to do is pick up my tools and shut the hood, and I'm going to take it for a little spin. Still feel a little bit of a miss. Probably haven't cured the problem, but we haven't hurt the truck. If anything, we have improved our situation dramatically by changing that filter, guys. Let's put her in gear, see what she does. She didn't bog down as bad as she normally does. Still got a little bit of a miss and a hiccup for sure. Definitely running better than it was, for sure. All right. So I guess the plan now is going to be, now that we've changed the fuel filter, which I think anytime you have any type of fuel situation, if it's a lean condition, a rich condition, I don't care. Especially the lean condition though, change your fuel filter. Do that first. You're not throwing parts at your vehicle by doing that. It's a maintenance item. Do that. You eliminate one major thing that could be causing you complete grief that could actually interfere with all the other stuff that you're about to do to try to figure out what's wrong with your machine. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do a fuel pressure test. See if we can't see what we're getting and what we're not. All right, let's find that Schrader valve and let's hook her up. So as luck would have it, on the 4.9 liter, the best engine ever made in my opinion, the Schrader valve is in the most stupid location you could possibly have. Thanks again, Ford. Love you, but this is ridiculous. The Schrader valve is back there. So that's where we have to hook our fuel pressure gauge to. So let me try to get that done real quick here. And there's probably going to be some fuel come out of it, guys. Alright guys, I think we have it hooked up. Alright, we have fuel pressure gauge in place and hopefully tight enough. So what I'm going to do is set you guys up here to where you can watch while I go in and cycle the key to the on position. I'm not going to try to crank the engine right now. I'm going to cycle the key to the on position. I'm going to turn it off, turn it back to the on position, and we're going to see what fuel pressure we have. According to the internet, which we all know is always right, with the engine off and the key on, the fuel pressure should be between 50 and 60 pounds per square inch. And it should not drop. It should actually maintain that. And then when the engine is running, it should be between 45 and 60 psi. So we'll just do these initial tests and see what we end up with here. So we're showing nothing now on the gauge with the key cycled, so I must not have that tight enough down there just yet. Let me check this one more time. That's not much fuel pressure there, is it? Come on, fuel pressure gauge. What's going on with you? This is just the universe saying for me to tell you guys to make sure you get a high quality gauge. Let's see if we have an O-ring for this. Watch the gauge for me. We're showing to be holding at 20 pounds of pressure, which is too low. I'm gonna cycle the key a few more times, make sure we don't have a bunch of air trapped. And Yeah, that fuel pressure is way too low. Like I said, it should be between 50 and 60 pounds sitting here as is. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead, just for the sake of doing it, I'll keep cycling the key a few more times and we'll see if the pressure continues to come up, but it should bottom out any time. More than likely we have a fuel pump issue, so we're gonna continue on. Yeah, even cycling the key several times, we're not getting anywhere close to the 50 pound. I'm gonna go in. I've been having trouble out of the rear tank anyway, so I haven't put a lot of time and energy into it, but just for giggles, since we're already hooked up, I'm gonna switch over to that back tank. And I'm not expecting much, guys, at all. So it looks like we're gonna be doing fuel pump. Yeah, as you can see, we're getting pretty much nothing in the back tank, so I think we're fuel pumping it, guys. I have to trust the process. The process tells me we're lean. We got the fuel filter put on, so I know we have no obstructions, or should not have any obstructions. You know, when you do that, you have to go to the next thing, which would be to check for fuel pressure, and we are not getting what we're supposed to. I'm gonna just go on ahead and flip it back to the front tank, and I'm gonna start the truck and let it run with the gauge hooked up, and let's see what we have when we're in operating condition. So we're still well below the threshold of 50 psi. Like I said, it may not solve the problem, but you have to diagnose as you go. And I could throw more parts at it, but as of right now, if you would look at this thing for what it is, you would almost have to say, well, our PSIs are a little off on that. I think it said on the internet that it had to be 45 to 60 pounds. We're still well below. It's steadily creeping up some here. Okay. All right, that's strange. That's odd to me. Why would that happen? Gonna let this thing sit here and run a little while, guys. I'll check that wheel. I decided to let it run a few more minutes, and then I decided I was gonna just go ahead and release the pressure from the running condition and put it back in the key on, engine off, just a fuel pump, and we're still back up at 22 pounds. That's just well short of where it's got to be. So we know the fuel pumps, or the fuel filter, is good, so it leaves me thinking that our lean condition is probably due to a fuel pump that's just not operating like it should. Even though it bumped up to 45 psi when it was running, it just still didn't act quite right. And I think that you would want to be on the higher side, around 55 than 45. So I think we're going to order some fuel pumps and just go ahead and get this bed off and do both fuel pumps again, and we'll see where our fuel pressure is after that. All right, we're back, kinda. I'm gonna ease this truck over to some more appropriate area for me to get some bed bolts out. If it will drive over there. It may be, it may not for us, guys. We have some serious fuel pump issues, so. Oh, she's running rough. Get a little airflow. Hey, car makers, bring back the old, whatever you call it, window. Oop-da. All right, guys, I have a really good video already on my channel about removing these truck beds from these OBS Fords. Kind of point out what's happening here. You see these bolts right here? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 8 of them. All right, you have to go underneath the truck and loosen them off to get the bed off. Now, I'm not against this. If you want to cut a hole and make an access panel for your fuel tanks, I don't blame you, because the quality of fuel pumps nowadays are terrible. So you're likely to be doing this every couple of years, in some cases every year. It's a little more time to do it the way I'm going to do it. But this truck belonged to my grandpa, and I'm doing my level best to not cut a bunch of holes and stuff in it. I'm not saying eventually I won't, but as of right now, that's what we're gonna concentrate on, is doing it the way that you should do it. So I will show you along the way, guys. Basically, I'm just gonna climb underneath the truck and loosen up all the nuts off of these bed bolts, and then I'm going to drive the truck over to the cherry picker and show you how I get it off the truck by myself. All right, guys, I'm underneath the rear of the truck. This is the back tank. I do recommend, guys, if you're going to be getting underneath one of these trucks, plan on getting underneath one of these trucks, safety glasses is just dang near a requirement. Trust me, you'll hate it if you don't. After we get this done here, we may go on the search for the leftover Easter egg that is stinking up my yard. Terrible. But I guess we'll try to deal with this first. All right, guys, you see, when you're going to take the bed off these trucks, they have some wiring here that you're going to have to unhook. I'm trying to remember which one it is, but I'm just going to unhook all of it. I'm going to unhook this one and then unhook it from this trailer wire harness. I'm going to unhook it as well, because I can't remember which ones, and I'm gonna check the other side as well. This is the driver's side I've had this on. So probably gonna have to get a flathead and kind of pry on this, guys, because it's gonna fight. And these things have been on your truck for so long, a lot of times they'll break off, but a lot of times they're stuck so bad that you end up breaking them. I'm gonna try not to break this, and I don't even know if I have to take this one off. I can't remember. I got them all off, guys, but you just have to mess with it yourself and see what you can come up with. I think that's all of them that has to come off, but I don't know. You may have some extra wiring on your truck too. These trucks are old. People have done things to them over the years, so you just want to check all that as you can. All right, so I'm going to try to show you the position of the very back 2 bolts. Whoops. So you can kind of get an idea, because it's a little disorienting when you're outside of the truck, out from underneath it, and you're looking down at the bed. It can be disorienting about where your bolts are. You see this bolt right here that's pretty loose right there. The nut is loose already. That's one of them, and you'll have one on the other side in that same position. So if you find your wiring right here, the first bolt's right there. So I'm going to try to get on that and try to see if I can get it off. And there are tricks to this, guys. Sometimes an end wrench is just as easy. But if you have a wobble, sometimes you can get in there with a wobble and do some good. I'm gonna see if I can get it off. All right, so I'm hoping you don't run into this, but the reason that nut was not tightened all the way down on this is because the last time that I had to take this bed off, it kind of stripped off the inside of the bed. I'm gonna put these vice grips on here, and I hope that that's gonna hold it good enough for me to get the nut off and get this out. I may actually try to find some of these bed bolts and order a brand new set and get them in here, but we're gonna get this one off, and hopefully you guys don't run into this on yours. I think maybe possibly you guys are gonna be able to see this. No guarantees, but I'm gonna try for you. I like to show my work. There, it's come right off there. Easy peasy. Now we'll just go up top, pull that bolt out. That's B1 down. So now we're on the passenger side rear. We're going to try to get this on here. And as you can see, guys, without a wobble, I don't think there's any way you can do this with this. You have to use an end wrench. I may have trouble with this. Perfect. Same as the other side, we'll just push these bolts up, get them from the top side, and move on to the next ones. Alright, I'm going to try to let you get your bearings about you. Here's the back of the truck, rear fuel tank. Coming up, strap for the fuel tank right here, guys, if you can see it. And right here where the frame connects, this little cross member here, right behind there is your next bolt. It's gonna be really hard for me to show it to you guys. We'll try to come from back this way. It's very dark in here as well. But your next bolt is right here. You want to get this one off. These aren't too hard to get most of the time. We'll try to get a little light in here too for you guys. Maybe if I do it this way, we can, I mean, I'm using every magnetic thing I own to try to get this footage for you guys. I want to thank Deb for getting me a new magnetic tripod, or I guess, I don't know if it's a tripod, what would you call it? From a GoPro. Dang, struggling. As you may or may not be able to see in there, I did get the nut off, guys. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but I did get the nut off. It's hard to film in here, just about like on anything else we do here. Try to show you my work. We're gonna move on to the next one, which is right up there. You can see it up there behind that wiring. Another, you know, hard place to get to, sure, but it is doable. Make sure you have a wobble socket and some extensions to work with. If you do not, you'll battle it forever. Sometimes an end wrench is your best move on these guys, but you will bust some knuckles if you're not careful, so be careful with what you're doing. All right. Without a wobble, you're not going to do any good with the impact. Hold your ears. Got it. And actually getting on them is the hardest part. I'm using a 18 millimeter with a wobble and probably a 10 or 12 inch extension here to get these. That's what I've been using so far. Alright guys, I'm at the front filler neck at the front tank, okay? So my head is basically underneath the fuel tank. So follow the edge of the fuel tank down here to where your selector valve switch is. And this is where it gets exciting, because behind all of this, way back in there, is another bolt. And this is actually, in my opinion, was supposed to be the toughest to get to. The other ones haven't been that easy this time, but this one right here is usually the tough one for me. I'm gonna try to get on it and get it busted off and get it out. Then we'll move to the other side. And then I think we may be done. Hold on, boss. Oh, hey, while I got you here, why don't you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Hit like on the video. Tell your friends about the Fuel Tilt channel. Your support is greatly appreciated, and it's needed. You understand? It's needed. Thanks for your support, guys. I do appreciate it. Hope anything I do is helpful to you. Remember, do everything you do at your own risk, but if I can be of help to you, I'll try to be. Okay, guys, so trying to orient you to where I'm at right now. Right where the bed of the truck meets the cab of the truck. Come in right where it meets, underneath. Watch your head. That bad boy will get you. A lot of stuff can cut you under here. Watch your eyes, wear your safety glasses. Here's the muffler situation, okay? There's the cat. Here's the muffler. You look up here where you see the wide beam coming from on the bed. Follow it to the frame. And there's your final bolt. This is not as hard to get on. I think this is Ford's way of saying congratulations, you made it this far. So we'll pull this one off, and then the bed at that point is actually detached from the truck frame. And then I'll show you what we'll do next. Okay, guys? Yep. That bad boy's tight. Hold up. I got it out, guys, but the struggle is real under there. Advice. Take this advice or not. If I were you and you're going to attempt this, what I would do, you know, take it for what it's worth. Locate these bolts like I have shown you. Take a wire brush, clean them off as best you can. Take you some lubricant spray and spray them. Do it as many times as you can. Now I realize if your fuel pump's down and you've got to jump on this and do it all in one day, maybe you can't do it. But if you can pre-plan it, just do the wire wheel on it or wire brush and get as much rust and junk off as you can and spray them, it would be good for you guys. It'll make it a little bit easier. I'm not going to say it's going to make it easy, because this is actually not easy. Okay, a few more things here, guys. Now that we've done that, we have to unhook. See these little bolts? Little bitty. There's 3 of them on each one. We have to do that for the front and rear tank. Get them off so the filler tubes can fall down with the bed coming off. I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but underneath those nuts that go into the bed bolts, those are 18 millimeter or 3/4. And I can't be for sure. You might want to Google that, but I think it's 18 millimeter. 3/4 seems a little loose on all of them, but it could be because they've been taken off and on so many times. This is a 7 millimeter here, guys, for these bolts. That's what I've come up with. There's those 3. They're all out. And we'll do the same to the front. I'm going to make sure that I get it high enough that it'll make it into the back of the truck, so I can back the truck up over the legs here. Need that. You pretty much tell I use this truck for all my most of my working stuff, so got to keep her going. Been looking for that. Obviously I have to go through all this that I just raked out, see what's all in it. Want it pretty taut. You want to be careful here, guys, because you can really scratch up your bed and your tailgate pretty bad if you try to attempt this. So I'm going to get this jack up a little bit more. And I'm going to try to back up a little bit more. So now I'm going to attempt to just put the X onto the hook and see what happens. I'm going to pull my trailer hitch off so I can go back a little bit further. It's holding me up. So. Like I said, you're gonna want to watch your tailgate here, guys. If anybody asked, you didn't see me use this pillow. Basically what I'm doing is getting this low enough to try to get the X put into the hook. This pillow will help keep from tearing up the tailgate any worse than it already is. Looks pretty good. As you can see, I didn't hit it dead center, but I got pretty close. I think I got close enough. Ah. Come on. There you go. There it is. Now, I'm not saying this is safe to do. Do not do what I do. Don't be an idiot. Alright, she's starting to move, guys. You have to make sure that the filler necks are out on the other side. I don't typically like to go up this high with it, and I want to make sure when I come down the hill that it clears the back bumper on the truck. Now, for safety's sake, I would normally just let this back down on the ground instead of having it suspended like this. But I actually plan on having these fuel pumps changed in a matter of a few minutes. Well, one of the main things is I can't remember what size cherry picker this is. It's a pretty heavy duty one. It's a pretty big one, guys. So that matters. You know, wouldn't use any terrible straps if you guys attempt something like this. Make sure you know what you're doing. Don't use crap. Like I said, I don't recommend doing this. If you do it on your own risk, but because it, you know, can be dangerous. But I'm going to leave this thing setting up exactly like it is, because like I said, I'm going to back right back in here and put all this back together as quickly as I can. All right, we got her where we want her, back over here, out of the way. This looks pretty good under here. You know, you watched earlier in the video, we changed this fuel filter, and probably would have been a little bit easier with the bed off to do that, but actually it's really not a whole lot, because the fuel filter is on the front side underneath the cab. It's really not underneath the bed. Hey guys, while we were away, commercial break there, I went ahead and did a little testing, because this rear fuel pump wasn't working at all. So I kind of went in here with my ohm meter and put it on 20 volts DC. My wiring shows to be good, and so I guess the pumps just went the way of the dinosaur. I haven't checked the front one yet. Now I did go ahead and relieve all the fuel pressure off the truck by simply pulling out fuse number 16, which is a 20 amp big fuse under the hood, while the truck was running, and let it completely evacuate the lines, run and die. So I'm going to start with taking this back one out and putting in the new fuel pump. Notice I have two fuel pumps here, and they are different. So when you order them, you need to make them different. When you put them on here, you got to make sure you put the right one. Order the right one, guys. So it's pretty easy to do, though. All right, so basically, guys, what we're doing here, we'll unhook our wiring. These push connectors, once again, and I don't know if I was able to show you very well or at all when I was changing the fuel filter, but basically these push pins go in, okay, and I've already sprayed these on the inside of these. I sprayed with brake clean to clean them out a little bit, make this a little easier. But you push the push pin in, you push your line up, and it pulls right off. So while you push this in until it bottoms out, just hold it in place. Take the line, push toward it, and then back, and it will release, just like that. Pushed in. Yeah, gonna have some fuel leakage, guys, as you see there. So I'm gonna try to get something to catch this real quick. I guess I need to get that off. Actually need to get that off. Let's see if I can do that. I'm not really sure what that even is, but the other pump doesn't have it, so I'm guessing we need to take it off. Alright. At least it might be some kind of check valve or something, I'm not real sure. Yeah, at least we have something else to fight me all day. Wouldn't be a video without that. Alright guys, I finally got this piece out. And looking down in it, you're probably not going to be able to see, but it looks like it's got a screen, and it looks pretty stopped up. I'm going to try to clean it with the brake clean. This was basically the same thing. I just had to get a little more rowdy with it and cuss at it a little bit. So push that in, push that up, and eventually it will come out. I had to work with it a little bit more than normal. Now, you obviously don't want to be creating a spark back here, guys. Don't be smoking your favorite cigar or anything while you're doing stuff like this. Now, the gas gauge wasn't working with this pump, and I thought I'd put gas in it, but I could be wrong. It could be dry, guys. Nope, it's not dry. Like I said, I did check all the power back here to the pump, and it was working. So you just got to wiggle these things around. This pump's not very old, which kind of bothers me. This is the one I changed last time. Let's try to get that new one put in place. I thought I put the seal back on here, but looking at it, I don't think I did. Let's came with a new ring, but I don't know if I'm going to use it. I've seen some horror stories online about these rings. Maybe I'll use it. I don't know. Looks like it'll fit. See, it's a little bit looser. So I'll just go back with the original. It's not going to hurt anything, but I am going to put this seal on. So let's get that new fuel pump in here. Finally got that pump to kick on, but it was not providing any pressure. Could be because it's about out of fuel. I don't know. I'm already here. I'm going to change it. I'll do some tests on that other pump that I pulled out. I'll do some tests on it later on. Basically, what we're going to do, we'll go ahead and get the new gasket in place. And basically, you just try to ease this back down in the hole without tearing off your filter or messing up any of the other stuff. So what I'll do, I'm gonna get this in here like so. It's gonna be cantankerous, but you just kind of want to ease it, be easy with it, because once you get it in here, you really can't see if you've knocked anything off. So that feels like it finally went in place. You just have to wiggle on them and mess with them a little bit, guys. That's all there is to it. I see some guys using hammers, and I've had to use hammers before, but for the most part, you really don't have to. Just tap, tap, tap the root a little bit. Just want to make sure that it is sealed up and where it's supposed to be, and it looks good there. All right, so basically it's just reverse of what we were doing, guys. We'll pull these off one at a time. Popped it right on. It's on. This one here, remember, this one goes onto that one. So we'll push it into place, locked in. Locked in, just like that. Now, plug in our wiring. There it is. Now, that one's in, guys. Pretty simple. That fuel pump is in place. It is there. All right, we'll move on up here and do the same thing to this other one. So basically, we're going to do the same thing up here, guys. Make sure I hit these good. You can use some penetrating oil if you have to, but remember that stuff's gonna kind of hold dirt after the fact, so you might not want to do that. Brake clean just to get them clean. Basically push in. Come on. Just like that. All right. Well, I'm gonna hook this line back up, give me a little more leverage. Wow. Got it. That was easy. Safety glasses, guys. That splashback and almost got me in the eye. All right. Just like that. Put those on the new pump. I'm gonna clean it out like I did with the back one and go from there. Both hoses are off. All right. So goes like that. This one has a pretty good bit of fuel in it, if I'm not mistaken. At least a couple of gallons. I believe this is the original fuel pump, maybe, or pieces of it. I can't remember. I know I changed it, but I might have just changed the pump inside. You can grab the new pump. I'm going to check out the wiring first, I think, because it looks like that might end up being an issue here. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of an issue. So I'm going to have to do some wiring now. Okay. I'm going to make sure the float goes in first, that you don't mess it up. You want to be easy with what you're doing here. Alright. Get our new gasket in place. Alright guys, I don't know what I think about this new ring. I went ahead and used it up here because the other one has some nicks and bumps in it. I'm going to go ahead and keep it just in case. Camera died, so you didn't get to see me finish this up here on this end. But I got to do some wiring here. I'm going to have to look at the directions, figure that out. So there's not really much I can do right now. It's going to probably get dark on me. So I'm going to try to get over and cut that off. I guess I'll try to get that done. Let's worry about that. Alright, so what I can find on the internet, which is not a lot. Bugs are tearing me up out here. Is, yeah, there you go, drop something. These wiring harnesses, I don't know why, just tell me why you don't match up the dang, I mean, I just don't understand. Match up the colors, make it easy. Basically just, I'm crimping these on, guys. I would normally do a solder job, but I think this time this is what I'm going to do. I can access this below if I end up needing to, so I'm not too concerned with it. I'm leaving a little slack on this old pigtail just in case something happens or I end up needing it again. I'll have something to be able to hook back to. I do that on stuff. May not ever use that again, but if I end up needing it, I can still use this because there's nothing wrong with this. Alright, according to the internet, which we all know never is wrong, the color codes obviously don't match up, which is ridiculous in my opinion. I'm going to go off of what I found online because none of the directions have any directions on the wiring. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I found what I could online. I'm going to crimp all these together, guys, and then I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, it started getting dark on me. This wiring harness kind of threw me off because the directions did not come with what I needed. This is what I found on the internet. I'm not really sure if it's right yet or not, but I'm going ahead and film it. I'll edit it out if it's not right. Putting on the new harness to the factory harness for the front tank. The orange wire from the factory side goes to the black wire on the new harness side. The red from the factory harness goes to the gray on the new harness. The black with the regular black wire from the factory harness goes to the black and white on the new harness. Then the purple will go to the greenish blue with the stripe, yellow stripe. I think that's the right colors. Anyway, I'm going to plug this up, guys, and we're going to test it right here on the spot. All right. Let's see if we got a running truck. Already put the fuse back in. Ooh, it's dark. Oh, turn it to the front tank. All right, she fired right up. Don't see any leaks. Oh, that looks good. Go with the light, guys. Fuel pressure. 50 pounds. That's pretty good. Running 50 pounds is good. But you notice the truck's not bucking and cutting out anymore, guys. Too bad I can't take her for a spin. But if this doesn't fix it, I'll update you guys and do another video. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this thing out to you guys tonight. I was hoping to get the bed back on. But guys, it's basic stuff. I'm gonna back this truck back under the bed just like I did. And then I'm gonna slowly lower it down. And I will get in the back of the truck with a screwdriver and put them down in these holes in the truck bed and wiggle them around till they get them lined up. And that's how I do it. Try to do it over the side so I'm not in the truck, but that's how I do it. And it's pretty easy. We're all hooked up. Seems like everything's working the way it should. Truck's running a lot better, guys. Anyway, as you can see, guys, I lowered the bed back down to the ground to be safe because it's a few days later. I decided during this process, since I already had the bed off, that I'd order some new vents for the tanks. So I'm going to put these bad boys on real quick and consider it completely done under here. And then probably not today, but tomorrow I'll put the, it'll be today for you guys, but I'm going to put the bed back on, and I guess I'll try to show you guys how I do that as well. So right now we're going to try to get these vents out. You want to be careful because when you're pulling them out, you do not want to be dropping any of the gasket down in the tank. So I'm going to try to attempt to just pull this off just like that, and then gently pull this out. Sometimes, yeah, it's all going to come out together. This one shows to be working, guys, and it's probably a better quality part than what I ordered. But from here, I'm going to change it. I'm going to keep the old ones just in case. They sound good though. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put the gasket on first. How about that? Here I am trying to be dumb. Plug her in, push her down, boom. We'll call that good, guys. How about that? Do the same on the back tank. Oh yeah, right out. Try not to break it in case I end up having to reuse one of them for some reason. Got it. This one sounds functional. Try not to knock any of the dirt off in there. It's a pretty quick, painless fix for something that might not even be wrong, but you know. There we go. It's like that. Like I said, I'm gonna keep these two. They still move freely, but we got new ones in, so we'll go with that. And now we'll get the bed back on, guys. Guys, you just have to work with this stuff if you're going to try this. Sometimes it goes right back, sometimes you got to fight it a little bit, sometimes it fights you a little bit. Make sure you have your bed bolts completely out. That'll make your life a little easier as well. I think we got her pretty close right there. And I forgot to take my bed bolts out of when I started, so I had to jack it back up, pull the truck back out, and go through all this again. You also got to make sure your fuel tubes are back up underneath the fender, so when you're letting down, you'll be able to get them back in place. If you don't do that, you'll have to do it all over again. And then I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but the hole is there. I'm gonna go ahead and let her down a little further. Make sure she's down. Side over here looks like it might be a little further out of whack, but like I said, we'll go ahead and put our bolt in place kind of best we can, and we'll shimmy, shake, and all that good stuff like that. Move the bed around a little. Went a little too far. I feel like it might need to come back some. Just wiggle it around a little bit. Eventually they'll go. And before you get under there and start tightening anything, you want to make sure you have all your bolts back in. See how that one's not quite lined up yet? See in there, so just kind of feeling my way here. Oh. Now that I have all of them lined up on this side here, the other side should be lined up. And that's pretty much it. That's it, guys. I'm just gonna throw the rest of these bolts back in, and I'm not gonna bore you with the rest of it. Like I said, just as long as you make sure that you've got your fuel tubes to where they're on the internal side of the fender, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you end up doing something like this. Like I said, you know, be careful if this is something you're gonna try. I don't recommend trying it, but this is how I have to do it when I'm a one-man show. So you're responsible for what you do. I have to keep saying that. I want you to know that, you know, I'm not saying this is the safest or best way to do it. I'm saying this is the way I do it. Anyway, entertainment purposes only, and I'm going to throw the rest of these bolts back in. I'm going to pull back over. I'm not going to bore you guys with putting the nuts back on. I think you kind of understand that. And this truck's ready to get back on the road. All right, guys, thanks again for joining me this week on the channel. We are going to get back on the 78. I know a lot of you guys are really only here because of that car, and I do appreciate it. But, you know, I work on other things too, and I needed a break from that car, and I'm still waiting on a couple more parts before I can really dive back into it. So keep an eye on the channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on the videos if you can. Share them with your friends. Also, if you hit that bell notification when I do post one of these videos or one on the 78, you'll be able to know immediately. It'll pop up on your phone, then you can come back and check it out. But we got this truck fixed. So what did we learn, and what is the story that we learned from working on this OBS Ford and what we did? We diagnosed it. We knew we had a fuel issue. It said a HEGO issue, which would have been the oxygen sensor on this truck, but it was in a lean condition. We went ahead and changed the fuel filter because we knew that it needed changed. We did that. We checked the fuel pressure. Fuel pressure was low. We changed the pumps. That fixed it. That's what was wrong with it. So it was running lean because it just didn't have enough fuel pressure. Anyway, I think that pretty much is it. If you're going to work on anything, not just these trucks, but anything, just be safe, be careful. Safety glasses and gloves, guys, they'll save you a whole lot of heartache, a whole lot of pain, and maybe in a few doctor's appointments. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.